Alright, so after talking about Ruffians, which is where singer Carl Albert came from, let's now get into the debut released by Vicious Rumors. Of course, Vicious Rumors were definitely one of the bands that Mike Varney, picked up for his Shrapnel Records label. And it was definitely all due to having one guitar player, because not just did Vicious Rumors have Carl Albert as their singer, but they also had a guitar player that would end up playing for one really popular first wave of heavy metal or hard rock band. And I did talk about that band with this guitar player with them. So, who was that guitar player? Vinnie Moore. Now, Vinnie Moore was definitely, of course, was a shredder, and of course, this is where he started from. After this, he would go on but be with UFO. And of course, he's still playing with UFO to this day, and they did release an album last year that I did talk about, but it was in my top 5 best hard rock albums of 2015. It was Conspiracy of Stars, something like that. It just doesn't matter. So this is where he started from, and this is the only album that he played with Vicious Rumors. And of course, he was on a demo that was featured in one of the U.S. Metal comps. It was, I think, was the 4th, and which was the last in the U.S. Metal compilations for Shrapnel. But let's get into here. Albums, and of course, this has a singer also named Gary St. Pierre. Of course, we know that this is also the only album with him on there as well. So, album starts off with the instrumental title Premonition, not to be confused with the Omen track, which they were released on the same fucking year in 1985, so, but they're definitely different. This is just acts like a track. This is definitely more of a song, just showing more of Vinnie Moore's leads and such. And that's what's definitely one thing about the sound that's definitely different from even the other ones. This is definitely more shred-based than some of the other Vicious Rumors albums, especially the ones with Carl Albert on vocals. This is definitely, and that's definitely due to Vinnie Moore being a guitar. And we got Right Into the Sun, which is, of course, is where the actual songs are. Definitely good. Medusa, just good. Soldiers of the Night, which is the title track, which is a very good stomping track. Murder, March or Die, not to be confused with the Motorhead track. We got Blitz the World, another good track. In Fire, which is good. Yeah, Domestic Sins, which is good as well. And Blistering Winds. But I'm forgetting one track. That's an instrumental on here. Yeah, there's about 2 instrumentals. But this instrumental is, of course, it's very much your typical Shrapnel instrumental, which is titled Invader. Put this next to Laws, Rockets, Mad Axe Attack, and Taste of Iron's Metal Taco, and you pretty much just have a track that pretty much tries to copy Van Halen's Eruption. That's all it is. This is pretty much just Vinnie Moore just shredding on the fucking guitar. That's all it is. What else you need to know about? It's good, but at least it tries to kind of paint more of a scene, because it's titled Invader. So it's trying to paint more of a scene than just really trying to just showing off somebody, just showing off. But at times it makes you still wonder, why is it even on the record? Maybe this is one of the reasons for why they ditched Vinnie Moore, because they didn't want to be a fucking shred-based band with just a balls-to-the-wall U.S. power metal band that was more on the likes of Obsession or something like, or even like some more close, similar to their heroes, such as Judas Priest, instead of trying to sound like a fucking Van Halen ripoff. Even though this isn't a Van Halen ripoff album at all, this is definitely still a solid album. But when it compares to some of the other releases by Vicious Rumors I'll talk about, this is a different album compared to those. And it's definitely, even with singer Gary St. Pierre, which reminds me a bit of James Rivera of Hellstar. And this is definitely similar to a bit of Hellstar as well. Something that's a little different with even some of the other albums, where they really decide to sound more like themselves instead of trying to sound like another band. Same thing with Hellstar. They didn't want to sound too much like the Heroes, but kind of sound like something of all their own. So with this, it's a good starting point for the band's career, but they of course will have to ditch two people that I think they felt were holding them back. So I will now get to talk about that release, where they really start to find their sound. So before that, what are your thoughts on Soldiers of the Night? If you have heard the album and if you have any thoughts on it, you can post your comments down below. This is Heavy Fresher saying I am out. It's time to talk about the next album by Vicious Rumors. Stay tuned.